Hello, my dear students. Welcome to the subject of Social Science, Class 10th EM, Chapter 14. And this is the second part of the Chapter 14, that is Transportation, Communication, and Trade. Brought to you by Vitan Sir. Now, last time we discussed about the roadways and the railways. Now we will start with the waterways. As far as water transportation is concerned, it was carried out in India since ancient times. All transactions were done through waterways when roads and railways did not exist. Yes, we are talking about some 3000, 5000, 10,000 years ago. At that time, forest covered most part of the India. Roads were not there. Railways never did occur. That means the maximum transportation was done through the natural ways, that is rivers and oceans. Compared to roads and railways, the waterways are cheaper because no expense is incurred in their construction or maintenance. We don't have to prepare roads in the water. We don't have to maintain them. Rivers flow naturally, and using the river flows, we can transport our goods and services and people and all those things. There are basically two types of waterways in India. Number one is the internal waterways, and number two are the oceanic waterways. We will start with the first one, that is internal waterways. Now, internal waterways are developed more in Assam, West Bengal, and Bihar states of northeast India, while in South India, internal waterways are used more for services. Okay, internal waterways are basically waterways which are in the India, either using rivers or using canals, or sometimes the big backwaters seen in the south side, where the ocean water seeps into the ground and that forms big saltwater lakes which are used for the services of transportation. So those are the internal waterways. Oceanic waterways are part of the coastal area of India. India has about 7516 km long coastline. Along this coastline, there are 13 major and about 200 minor ports. After Shipping Corporation of India was founded, there has been a huge development of national and international waterways. That is, using the Indian coastline for national as well as international transportation. In the map given beside the ship, I have depicted some of the major international ports of India. You can zoom in your YouTube video and check their names. Kandla, Mumbai, Nhava Sheva, Margoa, New Mangalore and Kochi ports are on the western side, while Kolkata, Haldia, Paradvip, Visakhapatnam, Chennai, Tuticorin are the eastern main ports of India. This is a picture of the ports of Gujarat. Gujarat has got a long coastline of about 1600 kilometers. Kandala is one of the largest port of Gujarat. You can see all the ports starting from the topmost red colored Kandla, then Mandvi, Okha, Poshitra, Salaya, Sikka. Here red ports are the major ports, the blue are the intermediate ports, green are other, and the starred are the proposed ports. Okay, so that's how these ports have been marked here. Other important ports are Veraval, Sikka, Pipavav, Navlakhi, Mundra, Poshitra, etc., etc., and Poshitra port is also to be developed, and such list of ports is shown in the map here for your purpose, so that you can understand actually where geographically these ports are situated, not just the names. Next comes transportation by river canal. We are still in the topic of waterways, but using rivers and canals for the transportation. Now, India has developed five major river canal routes which are depicted as the national waterways, numbered from 1 to 5. I will show them one by one here using the maps itself. The first one is National Waterway 1, which is situated on the Ganga River. It spans from Haldia to Allahabad of 1620. The second national waterway, that is on the Brahmaputra River, that is Dhubri to Sadia. It is 891 kilometers. It is in the Assam, starts from Dhubri, ends at Sadia. We can say it starts from Sadia and ends at Dhubri. So that is the national waterway number 2. Next is the national waterway number 3, that is the West Coast Canal from Kollam to Kottapuram. The distance is 250 kilometers. As the name suggests, it is on the western part of the India. You can see at the top Kottapuram and at the end you can see the Kollam. So it starts from Kottapuram, ends at Kollam. This is the way where it passes through. There are many rivers in between. Sometimes they have used the canal here. Waterway has been changed, the sides and places and all that, but that is the waterway which is used, and it is mostly in the state of Kerala, as you can see in the map. Next is the National Waterway 4, situated on Godavari Krishna rivers, that is from Kakinada to Puducherry, 1078 kilometers. As you can see, this waterway has a lot of branches and it mixes with many rivers. It also uses a canal. For example, if you go to the very top, you can see the Godavari river, and then there is a Elluru canal which connects it with the Krishna river flow. So it starts from the Godavari river, that is Kakinada, then connected with Kakinada canal to Godavari river, then again connected with Elluru canal with Krishna river, and then there is a Kamamur canal. So basically it connects rivers with canals, and it connects Kakinada with Puducherry with many branches in between. So that's the 4th national waterway, that is Godavari Krishna river, Kakinada Puducherry, 1078 kilometers. Next comes the last national waterway, 5th one, which is situated on Brahmani river, Goenkhali Talcher, 588 kilometers. As you know, see here, it starts from the left side Talcher and then goes to many places and then ends at Goenkhali, 588 kilometers. Okay, it is most part of them are still under development, not exactly completed, but it is still going on. Okay, so that's the 5th national waterway. Now this map depicts all the waterways in a single map. Now as you can see on the screen here, the first waterway is from Allahabad to Haldia. The second waterway is Assam to Sadia to Dhubri. Then the third waterway is Kollam to Kottapuram. Here, see how small it is. The fourth waterway is Krishna Godavari rivers, that is from Kakinada to Puducherry, and then the fifth national waterway, that is on the Brahmani Delta canals. And then there is a sixth proposed. It is not right now, but it has been proposed. It is in process. It will be Lakhipur to Bhanga, 121 kilometers. It is not in your syllabus, but it is in the process. So in the near future, it will be there. So this is the complete map of India depicting the national waterways from 1 to 5 and the sixth one which is under process. Next, we start with the airways. Air India, Jet Airways, it is the speediest and costliest mode among all types of transportation. It gives you the wings, but it costs you your life. Airways are used to reach distant places, remote and dense forests, and to reach those places which are not even accessible easily by roads, for example, the mountains. In India, the weather remains favorable for aviation almost throughout the year. In present day, airways are used more and more. The airway services in India were as air mail services between Allahabad and Naini. It was run by a private company, that was the Tata Airlines, the very first airlines of India. Today, Air India and other private companies provide air transportation services in India. This shows major airports. Some are the country capitals. The red ones are the international airports, and the white ones are the domestic airports. This does not show each and every airport of India, but the major ones. And this map shows you the air routes mostly in India. I have not depicted many of the foreign air routes. It would be too clustery. So this route only shows you the air network of domestic flights or the international flights which go to domestic airports. Okay, so these two are the airport map and the air routes map. Today, Airport Authority of India carries out the management of 127 airports, which include 15 international, 87 domestic, 25 civilian airport terminals. There are international airports such as Kolkata, Mumbai, Chennai, New Delhi, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, as you can see in the map. Pawan Hans helicopters provide helicopter services to ONGC and to the government. Pipelines. As you can see, it is one of the parts of the methods of transportation. Pipelines are used to transport liquid material such as water, mineral oil, natural gas and other liquids. An oil pipeline exists between Nahar Katia of Assam to Nunmati Barauni. One pipeline goes from Kalol to Koyali in Gujarat and from Salaya to Mathura. A pipeline has been installed from Bombay High up to Mumbai coast. In Gujarat, natural gas is transported through pipeline to Khambat, Dhuwaran, Koyali and Ahmedabad. Cooking gas is provided through pipelines to Surat, Bharuch, Vadodara, Ahmedabad, Jamnagar, Morbi, Rajkot and Gandhinagar cities. This is a map of the pipelines. The blue ones are the existing and red ones are the under construction. This is the map of pipelines of India. As you can see, it is not as widely spread as either roads or railways or even air routes, but it is still a very wide network trying to cover maximum parts of India. But as you can see, basically maximum congestion of this pipeline is from Mumbai to Delhi route. As you can see, Mumbai passing from Gujarat going towards Delhi. That's the maximum route which has the most dense pipelines. Next is the ropeway. In mountainous regions, the summits are connected by ropeway to transport goods and passengers. There are about 100 ropeways in India. Ropeways are seen in Darjeeling, Kullu Manali, Cherrapunji, Haridwar, etc. in North India and in the mountainous regions of Chennai and Malai. The ropeway services in Gujarat are available at Pavagadh, Saputara and Ambaji. Work for a ropeway has started at Girnar in Junagadh. Next topic, the first one was the transportation. The second topic of the chapter, that is communication. Let us define it. The arrangement to send or collect information from one place to another is called communication. That means we have to send or collect information from one place to another to call it communication. Communication, this has been proved extremely useful in routine lives as well as in relief and rescue works like floods, drought, cyclone and tsunamis. During these natural disasters, communication has helped save people, provide food grains, provide relief works and provide the necessities of the people caught into these natural calamities. It also plays an important role in economic, cultural, and social progresses of the nation. As you can see here, on the legs or the tail of these pigeons, messages were sent by sound, smoke, animals or pigeons in the ancient time in the India. So not just India, actually in all over world, there were many means of sending messages. That is a part of communication in the ancient times. One of them were the pigeons. Animals were used, smokes were used, or even sounds were made to convey messages to a long distance. If we talk about the modern times, mail, telephone, mobiles, satellites, and internet has taken up those tasks of sending messages. As you can see in the picture here, the plethora of applications used for the sake of communication are there in today's lives. Science and technology, if we talk about them, has huge contribution in the developing the field of communication. As you can see here, ICT is one of the ways of improving the communication through the use of technology. Individual communication system. The communication system has two parts. The first one is the individual communication system. That means two people talking with each other. That's all. They are not talking with anyone else. They are just talking with each other. That's a part of individual communication system. Internet and smartphones are effective among individual communication system. Email, e-commerce, exchange of currency have also become very fast due to internet. Moreover, there has been revolution in telecommunication through various applications on social media. Villagers also remain in live contact with people locally and in abroad. Second is the mass communication system. That means people, one person communicating with many using the tools. This picture depicts it all. There are mediums in mass communication system. First is the print media, which includes newspapers, magazines and pamphlets. The second is the electronic media, which includes Akashvani, Doordarshan, etc. Prasar Bharati is the autonomous body for transmission in the country. The two divisions of Prasar Bharati are Akashvani and Doordarshan. Akashvani is the radio while Doordarshan is the TV. There are 450 radio stations in the country today. It broadcasts program in 23 languages. It can be used conveniently in the most remote area also. It becomes an important unit for context at the time of natural disasters using radios, and radios have been used for many years for the sake of the disaster management, because radios can air the precautions which people can take, the latest news, the latest situations. They can guide people what to do in the case of tragedies and natural disasters. With use of satellites, Doordarshan news, weather reports and programs on entertainment and education are also telecasted. Today, many private channels also have started programs like Doordarshan. Of course, today Doordarshan is somewhat less used, and you know which channels are watched the maximum today. Satellite communication. Satellite communication receives signal from the ground and emits it towards a very far away ground spot. So the satellite communication has helped a lot in the wireless transmission of the data and the communication. The artificial satellites have their own communication skills. Along with it, it also controls other mediums of communication. The Indian National Satellite, in short INSAT, satellites launched by India are multi-purpose systems which is helpful to Doordarshan for the forecast of weather, cyclone, thunderstorms, warning for disasters, research and other telecasts. Besides, there has been a development of indigenous polar satellite launch vehicle, in short PSLV, through the Indian remote sensing satellites, that is IRS. So remember these short forms, they are very important for the study purposes. Next topic in our chapter is trade. The act or process of buying, selling or exchange of commodities at either wholesale or retail within a country or between countries is the trade. Okay, so let me repeat again: the act or process of buying, selling or exchange of commodities. That's simple: buying, selling or exchange of commodities. Whether you buy it at a wholesale or a retail, within a country or between countries, we can call it trade. Internal trade. Now trades are two types. One is internal, second is international. So internal trade, the commodities available in excessive quantity of one state is transported to another state and vice versa. Okay, so for example, Gujarat has a huge capacity for producing electricity, so it can produce electricity and sell it to other states. And then if there is something which Gujarat does not have, it can buy from the other states. For example, the woolen cloths. Gujarat can buy woolen clothes for either Kashmir or Punjab because they produce it in plenty. So we call it internal trade. Punjab produces more wheat, so it exports it to other states, but Punjab does not have a sea coast. So it gets its salt from Gujarat. Thus, every state exports its products and also imports the necessities. The second type is the international trade, as you can see in the picture itself here. The system in which different countries of the world export and import according to their requirements is called international trade. Okay, so whatever are our requirements, we import it, and whatever are their requirements, we export it. Imports and exports, if we talk about them, if a country exports more than its imports, its trade balance is positive because we earn by exports. If it imports more, it becomes negative because we lose money by importing. So if we import more, our trade balance is negative. If we export more, our trade balance is positive. Exports increase the currency value while imports decrease it. When we export more, the people demand our goods and also they demand our currency. That means our value of currency increases. If we are importing, we are demanding the currency of other nations. That increases the value of their currency. In retrospect, decreasing the value of our own currency. Liberalization, privatization and the globalization, that is LPG policy of 1991, put a drastic change in India's international trade, and that has converted our international trade into something more demanding, more developed. Make in India. In recent years, India's trade balance have been continuously negative. That means we have been importing more and exporting less. So to change this, we have started a Make in India movement in which maximum products which we are importing from the other countries, we make them in India. So to reduce our quantity of imports and so to make our trade balance positive. Import trade of India. As you can see in the picture here, the iron production in India is not sufficient. India imports iron and copper. The demand of petroleum and mineral oil and lubricants is more for transportation and for keeping the machines active. So these are imported. We also import machines, pearls, gemstones and edible oil as per our requirements. We import these things from USA, Germany, Russia, Myanmar, Iran, etc. The above chart shows the percentage-wise imports of the different products. Petroleum products consist of 27.7%, gems and jewelry 16.7%, electronics 10.6%, chemicals 9.6%, and machinery the 8.1% of our total imports. Next is the export. Next is the export trade of India. These are the products which we export from India. The limited portion of the production is allowed to be exported because if we export everything, the internal price of those products will be increased, which may affect our internal trades. We import raw material and then manufacture them, manufacture goods from them and then export those goods. Indian export includes iron ore, minerals, engineering goods such as cycle, fans, sewing machines, cars, railway coaches, computer software, etc. This chart again shows you the export proportions. We export 9.1% agricultural products, 14.4% gems and jewelries, 15% textiles, 13.4% chemicals, and 12.1% other products. We also export chemicals and the things related to them, the gemstones, hide and the leather goods, cotton textile, fish and its products, handicrafts, tea, coffee, jute and its products, and the ready-made clothes. So my dear students, with this our chapter number 14 ends, which was divided into two parts. In this chapter we have studied about the transportation industry, in that the roadways, its types, its map, railways, its development, its map. Then in this particular tutorial, we studied about the waterway, its types, national waterways, then the pipelines and the ropeways and airways and its routes and airports and various waterway ports of India. Then we studied about the communication and its individual communication and mass communication and satellite communication, its explanation, and at the end we studied about the trade, its types, internal, international, imports and exports. So with this, I end the chapter number 14, that is transportation, communication and trade, brought to you by Vitan sir. And I will catch you guys in the next time, in the next chapter. Wait for it. Stay home, stay safe, and stay tuned.